A
definitely
hidden
got nice
object guru
tanks.
here, joined by
The Gun Wrangler.
who just started playing War Thunder today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just as shocked as everyone else.
I sent you an invitation, but you had already signed up. It worked out perfectly. We're going to play a tank arcade battle, wherein you and me and 5 or 6 other dudes. Trung wants in as well, but you can get in on the next game, Trung. These don't take that long. Where we are going to be battling, just a bunch of AI tanks. I think there's 8 to 10 waves of tanks, and just try to keep your head down. Oh wait, I may have actually. Okay, this is embarrassing. I may have accidentally started an online game, so you and I are going to be playing against real people. I promise to fix it next time. But for now, just try to kill other tanks, and if we both die, we both die. It should go well. Of course, we are also here to talk some television we watched.
Oh yes. Everyone's favorite series, American Gods, and
It's pretty impressive, and a show that I am not going to describe as spinning its wheels the show, because I am a nice person.
that's about all you can say about it.
I'm just saying, they seem to love spinning their wheels a little on this show. So where do you
I
want
have
to
to
start?
say, let's start with Men in the High Castle, because very little happens anyways.
Yeah.
in
Am I?
case.
And tell me your opinion on this, right? I am thinking that it's like it might be a situation where these guys we're going to A, just in case I didn't make that clear. If you want to come, great, but it's entirely up to you whether you want to come.
I'm following.
Oh, thank you. What got me about the show, right, was I feel like it's one of these weird situations where, like, the showrunners have a specific, like, destination in mind. But the way they've mapped it out only has room for, like, 2 episodes of television.
Yeah.
And, 2 seasons of television, and they're turning it into 4. And so, oh boy, is this taking its time. And
I have to say, having watched the series previously,
yeah.
when I first watched it, I was like, oh yeah, this is amazing. And then watching it a second time, I'm like, this is
They're taking their
absolutely
sweet time,
horrible.
aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, they're taking their sweet time. It's I'm very very interested to see where it goes, but oh boy. All right, so maybe we can find some tanks.
I'm pretty sure that's the only reason we keep on watching. It's
Yeah.
because we want to know where it goes, and if they stop faffing about,
Well, how do I put this, right? They better go somewhere interesting with Frank's storyline, because I don't know what the hell they're doing. Like, it's the story of a guy who is in way over his head, and he keeps, like, making things worse for himself by being belligerent to everyone all the time.
fundamentally
getting away with it.
self-destructive in a way
Yes.
that my wife would find intolerable.
Oh God, yeah. That is like, it's really frustrating, right? How self-destructive this man is. Like,
Yes.
I know he's sad about his degree of responsibility in his sister and niece and nephew's death, and I get that, but like, this needs to go somewhere and fast, or I don't know what I'm watching.
I can tell you it's not going anywhere fast.
But it is going
does
somewhere.
go somewhat.
All right, I'm going to ask you a question, and you can tell me what you think about this question, okay?
Okay.
Why isn't Joe's father Albert Speer?
Sorry, say again?
Joe, we finally meet his father, and it's the guy from Odyssey 5, the French guy from Odyssey 5, whose name I can never remember.
Yep.
And why isn't it Albert Speer? Albert Speer, Hitler's architect. Like
I don't know, because that seemed like
who
an
the character
obvious thing.
should be, right? He's the big businessman in the Third Reich. He's the guy responsible for building everything. He was in charge of munitions. Everything
That's
about who this
artillery,
character is feels like it should be Albert Speer. And up until this point, the show has not been shy about using the names of real-life Nazis on the show.
Well, yes, because Himmler and what's-his-face?
Heydrich. Reinhard Heydrich.
Yeah.
Have both appeared on the show.
Both in the show?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I need an adult.
No, you too?
Well...
You think yours is bad?
I took down 2 tanks, but...
You took down 2 tanks? Yeah, Hans on the comment is saying that is not user-friendly for new players. But apparently you did fine, because you took down 2 tanks to my 1.
With my sweet-ass 20mm crap wagon.
But yeah, it's like... It's really strange, and I don't know why the character isn't Albert Speer. It is a podcast now. I don't, like, it's weird to me, right? Because it's like, it seems like the perfect... Because here's the thing about Albert Speer, right? He's one of the most fascinating guys in all of Nazism. Because he's the only guy who was in the high command who didn't get hanged.
True.
Like, every other guy got a noose. Because he was the only one who was able to persuasively argue. Or, well, a lot of them killed themselves. But everybody else in the high command got the noose who didn't kill themselves. Except for Albert Speer, because he was able to persuasively convince Nuremberg that he didn't know anything about the Holocaust.
No, we have Sater, we have Krupp. We've got a couple other people who are just... We were just building shit.
Yeah, but no one as high as Albert Speer. Like, that's the thing. He's the highest-ranking guy to not get killed. You're right, there's all these guys who ran the corporations and did the building, right, who did not get killed, because, as you say, they could make a persuasive argument that they were just, well, we just ran a corporation, we just built stuff for the Nazis, we didn't know about this stuff. But Albert Speer was in charge of all major infrastructure projects, and he was the head of, like, ammunition production by the end of the war. Like, he was a really high-up guy.
Yeah.
And he got away with it. And the question is, what did he get away with? What did he know? And I've read his autobiography, and the man is good at making a persuasive case that he didn't know. Like, that's all I can say about the man.
I've actually read a book called The Arms of Krupp, which is very similar. It's not an autobiography, but it's about the Krupp family and how much they were involved with the war.
Right.
And, oh man, guys were definitely in it to win it.
Oh, really? Ugh. Because that's the thing, I read, it's fascinating, because his autobiography is his prison diary, right? Of his, 20 years he spent in prison. And my question is, I'm not saying I'm a conspiracy theorist, but did Israel poison him right when he got out of prison? I feel like Israel might have poisoned him right when he got out of prison. Because he died relatively quickly afterwards. He had a heart attack 3 years later.
I'm just going to point out that at this point, Mossad was up and running, and
they weren't screwing around.
They were making sure people got.
That's true. Yeah. I actually watched that not documentary, Jesus. I've watched plenty of documentaries. I watched that movie they did where Bing Kingsley plays, oh god, I'm blanking on it. You know. Oh, this is so embarrassing.
Munich.
Yeah, no, not Munich. The recent one, Netflix one they did.
Final Solution. Yes, I watched it.
Yes, Final Solution. Yeah, I thought that was well done.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I thought it was a really well done story. And, yeah, he had to go. But what's interesting is, and that's why it's so strange in the show, that of all of the Nazis, the only one to be this really complex individual who I don't know, again, inner circle guys, to be a really complex individual who I honestly can't tell you how bad a guy he was, is Albert Speer. And it makes me wonder, why didn't they make his dad Albert Speer?
If I had to
doesn't
guess,
that give you interesting,
it might
dramatic
be Surviving
opportunities?
Ken.
Oh, you think his family might be pissed about it?
Well,
that's a good question.
you know,
Well, yeah, I mean, it is a show
there's a
about
lot
Nazis.
of people who are in the camp that Spears is the good Nazi, the one.
And
and associating him with
portraying, trying to theorize what he would have been like had the Nazis won might prove very offensive to his remaining family.
the word
I
you're
had
looking
not
for
thought
is
about
libelous.
Yes, or in fact libelous. Although honestly, it's hard to get convicted of libeling someone who was convicted of being a Nazi at Nuremberg.
True. But it is, in fact, possible.
No, I'm sure it's possible, but I do think it would be difficult. Apparently, we have to take back one. We have essentially won this match, but we have to take one control point back, right? And then we'll get there. So, I think in my head from now on, that character is just going to be Albert Speer. Whenever I think about that
Well, he's
character,
essentially a stand-in for. Wow, that's some sweet jumps you made. But yeah, he's essentially Albert Speer.
yeah, okay. So I'm not crazy about that, right?
No.
You thought the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you did great. Way better than me. Congratulations.
How? Okay, thank you.
I'm not very good at the game. I've made that clear. Yeah, you were 7th on the team. No, 7th on the team. Yeah, way to go.
What?
I know. Other people want to join. We're not going to be talking to them, but people want to join. And they don't seem to be online, which is weird. Yes, Desire. If you get in, then you can absolutely join us. Let's load up another match. Well, let's do it. And then when other people get here, we'll do the player versus enemy stuff. Oh, you have to ready up for us to be able to go.
Sorry, I'm just fiddling about.
Oh, be my guest. I had to... It's weird. I had the strangest problem with my control setup the other day. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I had the strangest problem with the setup the other day where it had turned off my... are you using mouse look camera?
Yeah.
Okay. It turned off my mouse look camera binding. It just suddenly stopped working.
That is quite bizarre.
Yeah, I could not understand why, so I had to reassign it. And when I reassigned it, it had switched mouse look when I loaded to the button that auto-tracks planes when you're trying to shoot them with anti-aircraft. I'm like, huh.
There's a button that does that?
Yeah.
I've been trying to do that by hand.
Yeah. There is apparently a button that does that. I do it by hand most of the time because I get frustrated by the button. Hans taught me very early on, under no circumstances should you ever try to use the zoom-in camera, like your scope, when you're doing anti-aircraft. But other than that, you should be fine. Just aiming with the regular zoom button.
Alright, I am heading towards B.
All right,
Anyways,
I'll join you.
in other news about Man in the High Castle, which it's a good show in fits and starts. And
Is it crazy that by far the part of the show I'm most interested in is Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa's attempts to do the right thing within this terrible system?
Yeah, no, that's super interesting. Because
And,
I'm...
the other thing I'll bring
by
up
the
in a
way,
second.
if
Yes.
you want a recommendation, dear listeners,
Okay.
for a super amazing podcast, Hardcore History, specifically Supernova in the East, which details all of this. We have an M13 at half a click, cracking off shots at us.
Okay.
But Supernova in the East actually deals with this,
Right.
because the Japanese system is more fucked up than you can imagine
Yeah.
in this time period.
Really?
The only reason Pearl Harbor was attacked, I'm screwed up.
Yeah.
The only reason Pearl Harbor was attacked instead of Manchuria
Is?
is an army general got whacked
Really?
by a naval cadet.
That's insane.
Yeah. The Prime Minister in 1932 was killed by naval
Just an
cadets.
assassination.
Just straight up.
Wow.
Yep. They rolled in. They said, "Oh, hey, by the way, they're dead."
But I mean, stuff like that happens out there. I mean, there's only 2 Koreas because, like, some guy murdered the royal family.
No, it was happening like every 2-3 months.
Yeah.
You'd have within the Japanese military
Wow.
people whacking one.
Damn. And they were desperate. They thought their move was to attack America. Not to, their better move was to attack America and not try to take out, just completely overrun China.
No, they were going to attack Russia.
They were going to attack Russia? Okay, well
Yeah.
that's just madness. Although, I gotta say, if the Germans and the if they left America out of the war and the Germans and the Japanese teamed up to take down Russia, that's a very different war.
Yeah. What ended up happening was, so essentially the emperor was mute for a lot of the time.
Right.
So the military of various stripes would actually be autonomous. So the Air Force, the Navy, and the Army basically run by the general with no
Okay.
oversight and no communication.
Oh, damn. Well, that is not a good way to run any kind of a strategy.
But so we get to that was interesting.
I just saw you explode.
We get to 1932,
Yeah.
and so these naval cadets kill the prime minister and like a bunch of other ministers.
Oof.
And they say they did it in the name of the emperor
Of course.
and in order to preserve the integrity of the Japanese state.
As you do. A
People
popular reason
volunteering
for...
to die in their place.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's a wild time. I had no idea. I've been just burning through these podcasts.
Okay, so
But-
yeah. When you talk about that kind of environment, his character makes a lot more sense if that's what it was like when he was coming up.
Yeah,
Like, just all of this madness and chaos. Wow. That is fascinating.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, he is pretty much the best character as compared to Juliana Crane, who just can't emote to save
So
her life.
frustrating? Just so frustrating as a person, and as a character, and as a performance. Just, I never know what I'm supposed to think about this woman. I can't imagine it's
trying
anything good.
Emote my best, but it's not working.
There's definitely a flatness. Well, and because there's this flatness to her, I never really get why the character is doing anything she's doing. And at some point, it's like, oh, so now you're just going over to the Nazis? Okay. Because you're desperate to help out Joe, who's really been terrible all of the time?
Yeah, he's been genuinely awful to you
Yeah. Since you met,
99% of the time.
one time he saved you from one traitor, and he's been awful the rest of the time. And you're like, but I've got to save this guy. Do you, though? Do you have to save him?
I have a.
What did you do?
I
How many times do I have to shoot this frigging gun?
Well, I'm
But anyway,
kind of
you
trapped
were
here.
saying. Oh, no.
I feel that the best of the show so far has been in season 1
Yeah.
because it provided these dark glimpses
Yeah.
into everyday life, and it was
Oh,
so good.
I know. Well, and they've got a little bit of that with, Obergruppenführer.
Yeah,
With the Obergruppenführer and his drama with his son. Like, that's good stuff.
yeah, it's pain, but it's not like
It's not great.
a
like it
rain
was
of
in the first
ashes that Joe has to.
season. I know.
and you're just like, they're like, oh yeah, don't worry, it's Friday.
I
Start
know, that's
killing
when we
the-
burn all of the people.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus.
And you're just like, holy.
He's never been outside of New York. He doesn't know what the world is like.
Well,
Oh,
it was scarring to me as like
yeah.
just a viewer.
Yeah, I know. It's a horrific scene. Right? And then,
But
but then
moments
even in
like
the first
that-
season, yeah, you're right. They have been absent from the second season so far, and that's frustrating.
It really
And-
is.
Oh,
'Cause-
no.
I mean, I call it the mundane horrors of their world.
Yeah. We're going to be playing Tier 1 Desire, and we're going to be doing the player versus enemy after this match. So just have your Tier 1 tanks ready to go. And because we're doing player versus enemy, it doesn't matter what nation you use. Yeah, and you're right. It's like, and, well, the thing that, what did I love most about the first season? I loved seeing what Dragnet was like in Nazi America. Like the little glimpses we get when the people are watching Dragnet on the television. But it's about Gestapo guys looking
Yeah.
for, looking for people committing sedition. I'm like, damn!
It
That's
reminded me
fascinating.
of whatchamacallit? Wolfenstein 2, where it's like,
Yep.
sorry, fatty, you shouldn't be eating chocolate.
Jesus. Wolfenstein 2 was amazing. I'm sorry, it really was. I don't know why people didn't love it the way they loved the first Wolfenstein. I liked it so much more. I loved all the stuff about occupied America. Getting to kill Klansmen will always make me happy.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, you getting to kill Klansmen, that's just pleasure incarnate. But, like, it's so smart. It's so well written. Like, the first one, all they really did was that wonderful joke about the Nazi Beatles. Right?
Yeah.
They had a whole album by the Nazi Beatles, and it was kind of a funny idea.
Well,
And
they have that
doubled
in there,
and
too.
tripled down. No, but I'm saying that was the biggest thing in the first one. Like, the only real thing about society in the first one was that joke about the Nazi Beatles. Then in the second game, it's like, no, we're doing huge amounts of stuff about what America is like under the Nazis, about what propaganda is like, and about what culture is like, and how frigging half of America was happy to sign up with the Nazis.
Yeah.
You know, like it's really powerful stuff in that second game, and that is what the first season of this show was promising.
Yeah, and we got glimpses of it, and it was some absolutely traveler's level
Yeah.
fantastic television.
Oh yeah, it was. And then as they've been getting into the actual plot with the actual characters, I'm less concerned with it than I was with the world building stuff. Does that make sense?
No, it absolutely makes sense. The world building was better than the characters.
Yeah.
Though that may just be the fault of at least one of the actors.
Oh, you're still gonna go after her.
She, she's tremendously frustrating
No, she is.
in an
Oh,
otherwise amazing show.
No, she is. Alright, I've invited a third player. Ready up your tier 1 vehicles, and then we're gonna go after the arcade mode.
Okay.
Salt Tank Arcade, and then, again, it's gotta be tier 1. Someone's got a battle rank 6 tank. I'm guessing it's Desire for Power who has the, just Desire who has the battle rank. Yes, I know my performance at AA was terrible, Hans. I knew that the game was over, so I was just rushing at tanks. But yeah, so basically we started a base, and we just have to defend the base from waves of tanks. If you start running low on tank shells, there's a circle in the middle of the base. And just go there.
Okay.
And it will refill your ammo.
Besides my 36 millimeters of armor, is there a way to get repaired? 'Cause
Actually, yes.
at this
Whenever
point-
you kill a wave of tanks, out in the field, a tank repair item will pop up, and you just have to drive over it.
Okay.
No, we're only 1.3 Desire because this is literally, I keep forgetting your name, Stank Pail's first time playing
First
the
day.
game. Yeah, first
This
day.
is like
Yeah.
I've been at this for like 3 hours, maybe.
So there you go.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But
No, and that's what gets me. And I mean, while I like the stuff with him finally killing that doctor to save his son, which we knew was coming forever,
yeah.
right? Yeah. Well, yes, as long as there is battle rank ranges in the mode, that's true, but keep as low as possible, stay under 1.7, because, again, it's his first day.
I have
wow,
a
I never
machine
made- I
gun
never
that I
actually
don't
made
know
the
how to
M22.
use.
What don't you know how to use?
The machine gun?
That's a machine gun. Yeah, it's spacebar. You hit spacebar.
Okay.
I probably should have told you that ages ago.
Probably.
That one's on me.
Um,
But anyway, so yeah, like, I mean, it's fine. It's nice that he got around, and like, it's weird. I like the character stuff they're doing with him because his whole, like, it's an interesting comment on fascism, right? Because the whole concept of fascism is one guy knows how to fix everything. Like, it's like, I'm the guy who'll come in and I'll fix everything. And that's what fascism is. I'm the guy who's gonna fix everything.
It's all
and
about
it's a cult of
subservience
personality.
to the state, right?
No,
and
but it's not even the state. It's always one guy, and that's the
well,
thing.
one man is the
charismatic leader.
avatar. He's the avatar of the state.
Yeah, but that's
it's all
the
about
point.
the fatherland. It's all about
Oh yeah, no, it's all about the fun. It's about
the greater
we used
right.
to be better. We used to be better. We're going to be great again. We just have to destroy our enemies, and our enemies are all around. And it's about unrestrained militarism under the control of a demagogue. That's what fascism is, and it's great to see the Obergruppenführer looking at it and saying, "Oh crap, Hitler's going to die soon." And what if the one guy in charge of fascism becomes Reinhard Heydrich? That would be a disaster for everyone. And
This
that is what
ends
has started.
poorly.
This ends poorly for everyone if Reinhard Heydrich is in charge. Right? So he thinks to himself, I've got to... And that is what started him down this path of, well, now he's murdered a doctor. You know? And I mean, because it started by him doubting... He's seeing power plays in what is supposed to be a perfect system.
Well, he murdered the doctor to save his son.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. At first, he sees because it's two things simultaneously, right? One, he's seeing power plays and politics in what is supposed to be a perfect system. And then at the same time, he suddenly had a human face put on the sacrifice of the weak that is supposed to be where we get our strength from.
Yeah.
And if either one of those things had happened on their own, he might have muddled through it. But because they happened to him at the same time, it has changed his whole worldview.
Yeah. I know from here it does get much better.
Okay.
So
I'm going to see some very interesting stuff going forward, but...
Yeah, we just need to chew through.
Okay, there's some stuff we need to chew through. I will keep that in mind.
There's a lot of filler in this series, and it kills me.
Oh, alright, so let's move on to a show that we can just flat out enjoy, American Gods. Which, to a certain extent, is... I mean, even when American Gods is spinning its wheels, it has important things. It has important things to teach us about the characters and the world.
Yeah. Like, even when it's spinning its wheels, even when we're faffing about with dead wife.
Yeah. Oh, she was so much fun this week. The little quest she goes on. Well, that he tricks her into going on. I mean, he gives her what she wants, but it is a quest he tricked her into going on.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good scene. Yeah, I really... Oh my god, I loved that journey through the many phases of memories of, like, the different kinds of... Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, the ages of artistic expression. Like, that's a fascinating journey they went on.
Well, the visuals of American Gods never fail me. Ever.
It's weird, because it's like, I don't like it when David Slade makes movies. Because I don't think he either, whether he's writing them or just like, I don't know that he picks good scripts or has the opportunity, right? But as a frigging visual stylist when he's working on somebody else's project, oh my god. Are there a lot of people better than David Slade?
This is one of those things, I'd qualify it like Zack Snyder.
Yeah. Where it's like, keep him away
Do
from
not
the
let
writing.
him write anything ever in the history of the world.
But if you just let him get away with the, like, get him behind the lens, right, you can get something magnificent. And it's like, I thought, is Hannibal the only thing I'm going to love about David Slade's career? And then what happens, I friggin' start watching American Gods, and again, they team up. It's Brian Fuller and it's David Slade again, and you're getting an even more extravagant visual feast because because unlike Hannibal, he doesn't have to be restrained by realism, by it being set in, the grounded world in any way, shape, or form. He can just have this, again, whatever visuals he wants to tell this otherworldly story, and they go into animated sequences. I mean, for the love of God, this year we've had multiple, like animated sequences on the show. And not just as transitions. Like in the first thing, they would do the traveling animated transitions. This year, we've just had animated sequences on the show. Like, significant stuff, and it's been really great. Ooh.
Well, beyond that, everything looks good. Look at, like, that opening montage from, I believe it was episode 3, where there was the kid with his father, and
yes, the guy learning the guy and his father and the piano and the computer. Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Like, and that's not even giant and fantastical the way some of the stuff is, but it's like using visual storytelling to get you to understand huge things about these characters in an incredibly short amount of time.
Oh, beyond that, it teaches you about the world, because what does the father say?
Yep.
This is how I worship.
Yep. Yeah, and it's a throwaway line to understand it, but it shows you that, yes, all of this stuff is worship in this world. All of this stuff is part of it's all part of their religion. Because everything, and again, we were talking about this when we were doing the Vulcan stuff last season, right?
Yeah, with Chernobog.
Yeah. Well, both with Chernobog, with the, all sacrifice and slaughter, and with the stuff with Vulcan, which was, and his gun factory. Every time someone pulls a trigger, they're saying a prayer that the bullet will work. Right? Whether they think about it or not, every time they pull a trigger, it is a prayer that the thing that they are shooting at will die, and the thing they kill is a sacrifice to Vulcan.
Well, I think that's a very interesting thing. Especially, like, it's the thing with Chernobog, where even slaughter
yes,
is, this is my craft.
Prayer.
This is what I do. Every time I do it.
Yeah.
It's an act of worship.
Yeah. Oh, God. It's so smart. It's such an interesting take on this idea of religion, right? Where if everything is prayer, then there are gods all around us. And the answer is yes, there are gods all around us in this world. And that's part of what I find so fascinating about, sadly we lose Gillian Anderson. Yeah. I'm sad about the loss of Gillian Anderson. I really liked Gillian Anderson in the first season. I am sad to have lost her, but I'm sure they'll do interesting things with new media. And then but she just shows up. Then we see technology go through the exact same experience, right? When there is a new idea of what technology is being born in the guy who has been obsessed with computers his whole life, and who is, the Steve Jobs of this world, whatever you want to call him.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah. He's the Steve Jobs of this world, and he represents a new kind of computer and a new kind of technology, and he is essentially redefining what it is to be the god of technology. And what's interesting is they touched on this a little. It's interesting that the new gods are, and this is going to be a weird way to say it, are carnivorous, or not even
it's
carnivorous.
More that they're
they are
not
replaceable.
So much
in a
carnivorous,
way.
but I describe them as.
Oh crap! They're about to take our base on the other side. Yeah, I forgot to
I
tell
know.
you.
I'm doing my best with my 20mm cannon.
You know, do you just have the one tag?
I got others, but nothing more impressive. Like
Oh, okay.
20mm cannon.
But anyway, I was saying carnivorous because with the old gods, eventually, yes, if no one worships them anymore, right, they will disappear, as we learned from the flashback about the land bridge. But we've also seen from, Chernobog and the death god who now works in every diner in America, which was a nice twist. I did not see that coming. That she is present in every diner in America. But that was a good twist that I really enjoyed. These characters, gods can also be tenacious. Even after they're not being actively worshipped, they find a way. Whereas the new gods, are constantly cycling in and out. And Mr. World is the only one who's stable because he represents, the idea that everything is hollow all the way through. Like, he represents, as you said, globalism.
Yeah.
And that is a concept that is, locked in, that is on lock. He's not going anywhere, but because our conceptions of, what is media, what is entertainment, what is technology, is constantly changing. The new gods are constantly changing.
But the world isn't going to change.
Yeah. And it's just fascinating that the old gods have this stability and the new gods are constantly cycling. And maybe that's why the old gods think they can survive. Because they do seem to be more resilient.
I do like Mr. Wednesday.
Ugh.
Ian McShane.
He's Ian McShane.
Never, ever a disappointment.
No, he's fantastic. All of these episodes, he's been amazing. He really has. Oh, and what was the other? Oh, and I mean, my favorite, honestly, one of my favorite jokes in the series so far. I mean, it's just such a simple, silly joke, but I loved it so much. Was the idea that the heralds for capitalism are Girl Scouts? Like, Mr. Money, his heralds are capitalism, and capitalism is a Girl Scout. True?
Yeah.
It's so perfect. Because, the concept of money. Well, yeah, we all do worship money, so he's very powerful. Okay, well, who speaks for money? Who is the herald of money? Well, capitalism. What is capitalism at its purest form? Girl Scouts. Like, that's just such a good joke. I've enjoyed a lot of the jokes about worship on this show. I think that's my favorite one so far.
Like, I just generally enjoy the show.
Yeah.
And I think, half an episode ahead.
Okay, don't tell me anymore.
But yeah, it is currently the best non-Expanse thing on TV.
There you go. Well, I think that's what interests me so much. And it's like we were just saying, even when we know it's, as they say, taking a while to get to the fireworks factory, the whole journey is so compelling that you don't feel like it's ever wasting your time, the way I honestly feel like High Castle is wasting my time every now and then.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, I've never felt, because there's so much depth to the character, because there's so much to see in this world and to learn about this world, I never feel like my time is being wasted. Yeah, I'm always feeling like I'm being educated and learning new things about these people in this world, even when it's taking its sweet time. Oh, you got killed, Tank Pale?
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Little killed.
Yeah, you got a little kill. That's fine.
But, yeah.
This is the bunker here, by the way. If you ever need to rearm, this is the bunker that lets you rearm. You just get next to this bunker and they give you your ammo back. It takes
Anyways.
a while, but they do give you their armor back. But yeah, so very impressive.
aside from, like, I love how nakedly, baldly twisted the gods are. Like,
I know. Isn't it sweet?
even Mr. Anansi.
Oh god, wasn't that great?
Yeah. Like, he's all about, you know, he puts on a face of, oh, I'm all about liberation and the black people. There's a moment where, in a couple of not even, probably 30 minutes into the next episode, you realize just how naked and bald-faced self-interest
That's the thing. He is a trickster god, you know? He's always in it for himself. It always comes down to he's in it for himself. And it might help you in some way every now and then, but when it comes right down to it, he's always the only one whose needs are being met. Again, what was his introduction scene? He gets people to have a fire, like he gets the rest of the way to America by having people burn down a slave ship, killing themselves by and worshiping him when they do it. You know, I mean, yeah, it's always a good idea to kill slavers, but at the same time, what's in it for him? I love that scene.
Well, for me, like, there is this scene later on, and you'll see it in episode 5.
Okay.
Where it's made clear as to why he's always like that. He basically goes, you know, okay, if you're killing black or brown people, you're killing my potential followers, and I can't have that. It's not, oh yeah, I'm all for people of color. It's, no, you're killing my potential followers.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like he is manipulative and he is controlling, and it can seem like he's on the right side of things, but like you just said, it's always about him. You know?
Yeah.
Oh no! I got up on one set of treads. That seems unrealistic, but I'm happy to have done it. I'm happy to have been involved in that ridiculous contrivance.
Nothing about American Gods that is bad.
Yeah. It's just an impressive show from beginning to end. Like, the messages are always so interesting, the performances are great. Like, everything about this, they've just done such an amazing job with it. Yeah, like, I mean, like, you know me, I like Neil Gaiman. Even when they're loafing
about.
Yeah.
Even.
There's so much to learn. And that's
so much to learn, and it's always interesting, and it's always a visual feast, if beautiful. Nothing else.
It is beautiful, even when they're just getting there. Even the trip is always fantastic, and the show has actually made quite a bit of hay out of how much fun our Leprechaun's trip has been all year. Like, as his luck has run out, and he's trying to get places, and it just gets harder and harder and harder for the man. Because he's got no luck anymore. He sets a boat on fire, for God's sake. It's beautiful. Oh, yeah, but yeah, it's been amazing. So my question is, do you know who's doing Sandman? Because I haven't found out who's doing Sandman yet.
I don't know. I do have a friend who worked on The Boys, which is supposed to be pretty good.
Okay.
I'm seriously considering watching it, even though it is Garth Ennis based.
But I mean, it's also Carl Urban, so you know.
Yes. My issue is there is.
Yes.
There is no world. I don't care who's starring in it, who's directing it, who is in it, supporting it, who's reviewing it. There is no juncture at which I will watch any version of the Crossed.
No, of course not. No. No, it's Garth Ennis. It's one of the worst things ever produced by human beings. In the history of human artistic endeavor, Garth Ennis's Crossed is one of the worst things to ever have been created, and the man deserves to have nothing good happen to him for the rest of his life because he created that. Is that a terrible thing to say? Am I a bad person for saying that, or is that the truest thing I've ever said?
You have to balance this, because you look at the Marvel Knights, Punisher, and you're like, wow, this is some of the best, deepest storytelling we've seen in comic books up to this point when it had been produced. And then you have Crossed, and you're like, this is some of the absolute worst. This is pure nightmare fuel.
Oh yeah, that's all it's for, though. Like, it has nothing to say except it wants to make you feel sick to your stomach. It's like,
that's exactly it.
Well, you know what? If you do a story that's just a guy hitting puppies in the head with a hammer, I'll feel sick to my stomach. And that is the level of care that has gone into Crossed. You know? That is the level of work that has gone into crafting Crossed. It's just puppies getting hit with hammers. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Forever. It's not saying anything. It has no message. It has no value. It is just hitting puppies with hammers. And I don't approve of that.
Like, we are often at odds on a great many things.
Huge number of things. There's very little we agree on except for what makes for great television. That's base, and even then, there's stuff
and Crossed.
Well, yes, and Crossed. And what makes the worst thing ever.
Yes.
But yeah, no. But the thing is, it's like, we can both recognize a great TV show, and obviously we can both recognize the worst thing we've ever seen in our lives. And Crossed is very high on the list of worst things I've ever seen in my life. And I can't imagine I can't imagine the world is such an unkind place that it will ever be adapted into another medium. But honestly, The Walking Dead went for 8 years, so who the hell knows?
See, I like The Walking Dead up to a point. I was one of those... No, I was an early adapter.
Oh, no, I have the first 12 issues of the comic. You know, I have them in comic book form.
I think I've got the first 6 or 8 in hardbound.
There you go. Like, I have the actual issues. I bought the first one the first day it came out. Like, I'm not saying that there wasn't a reason to get into The Walking Dead when it started. There was. You know? I had a letter printed in the first 6 issues of The Walking Dead. You know?
Yeah.
Like, and the thing is, it's like, in the early days of The Walking Dead, there was no ads in it, right? But he still only wanted to do 22 pages. So there would be like 8 pages of him just chatting. Like, there was a comment section in every issue. It was like 8 pages of letters every single issue of The Walking Dead.
I know. And, like, I was down with the plot and the characters and the setting. Especially, you know, after the Telltale... You know, I got back into it. I was down. I
love that game. I did not like the second one or the series as a ongoing whole, but I really did like that first game.
I gutted it out, and overall, I like it.
Yeah.
However, that said, it's like The Road. Unending Misery is sort of bleak. And, you know, after a point, you're just sort of like,
I'm tired of feeling miserable all the time.
Dude, I am so good at being depressed.
Yeah.
I don't need a comic to help me out.
I will say this for Robert Kirkman. I respect that he ended it unexpectedly.
He ended it?
Oh, it's over. Yeah, it stopped.
Oh, seriously?
What he did was, he didn't announce it, and he didn't lead up to it, and they made fake covers for like the next 6 issues to put in the back of the comic to make people think it was still going to go. But no, Rick gets killed in one issue, and then the next issue is the last issue. It's about the aftermath of Rick getting killed, and it's the last issue. That's it. It's over. And it's like,
Huh.
I so respect that he pretended he was going to keep, like, he didn't tell people when the show was, when the comic book was going to end. He just stopped the comic book. It's a smart way to do it.
That was.
But yeah, I'm just saying, I guess if there's one thing you and I can agree on, it's, had Garth Ennis stopped writing the moment he finished Punisher Max,
The world would be a better place.
the world would be a much better place.
Like, this is why, as far as I'm concerned, his penance should be him being locked in, like, his mother's basement
Jesus.
for the rest of his living years doing Punisher.
That would be nice. He's always, I mean, he's got a passion for Punisher and he writes the character well. There's stuff about the Punisher he didn't get, but you and I talked about that for ages in our Punisher cast, so we're not going to do any more of that now. I'm not going to waste everybody's time with going over that
still,
stuff again.
The man,
But he does a great Punisher story. You will never hear me say. I think there's some macro stuff about the Punisher that I don't agree with his take, but
well, your
you
issues
don't get
with Punisher Born are well known.
yeah. No, but I'm not going to tell you that there's a guy out there doing a better job of writing a pure action Punisher story. I don't know that there is.
Here's the thing. The issue is Garth Ennis as a reprehensible human being.
Jesus. Yeah.
He did a better job at Punisher than anyone else.
Oh, yeah. Totally. I agree
No
with you
one-
completely on that.
No one even comes close, and it's bad.
That the man who did all of this other terrible work could do such a good job as Punisher. Yeah, I don't get it either. I'm still sad about Punisher going away, by the way.
I don't know. It just seems like
I mean, the TV show. Like, I'm just still a little sad about that.
I'm almost positive we're getting it back in, like, basically on the
The Disney service.
yeah.
I guess we'll see. I really hope so, but who the hell knows, right?
Well, no, all of the cast have said, "Oh, we'll come back if we're offered a chance to."
Right. Well,
And-
fingers crossed then.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, they would be smart to do that because people really did like the Punisher, so fingers crossed.
Well, if they bring back everything but Luke Cage, they'd be good.
Yeah. And I
Good.
think it'd make them all a lot of money.
It would. Also, Luke Cage was
Oh, I heard about
Stem
that
to
second
stern.
season. No,
A shit show.
no. I think I'm going to tell you, I honestly believe the first 6 episodes of Luke Cage were a very entertaining TV show. And then the second 7 episodes were a trash fire. And apparently the second season was even worse.
I can confirm that, yes, it is even worse.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, that's so sad.
The first 6 episodes, pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, no, it really was. I was
Soundtrack,
very-
pretty good.
It was a great soundtrack. Come on. But that whole second half of that season was so terrible. Apparently, I just got a trophy for killing someone a rank higher than me. And that is the first time I've ever done that.
Oh.
Way to go, me! Oh, crap. I'm so dead. This has been so brutal. I got shot a ton of times, and I was badly injured. Now a guy isn't even bothering to kill me because I'm in such bad shape.
I think next
Makes me
week
feel
we're going
very
to do
pathetic.
Dreadnought, because if we're going to do these sort of like massively online,
Stuff. I'll be interested to try it, Dreadnought.
might as well do it in cap ships, right?
I don't know. I kind of like tanks. We'll talk about that in the future. So,
I too like
yes,
tanks.
we will be checking out for next week. We're going to be back here to talk season 2, episodes 5 and 6 of both Man in the High Castle and American Gods. So if you're psyched to hear more about those, feel free to join us. For now, would you like to give people a quiz?
All right, what's the subject?
I was hoping, since you just watched that thing about Japan, we could get something to do with World War II. Your history, and name the show again. What history?
It's called Hardcore History.
Hardcore History. Okay.
It's by Dan Carlin.
All right. Can you give us a quiz question based on it?
Oh, I can. I'm just like trying to think of something that isn't abject horror and misery.
Jesus.
Yeah, apparently a lot of history is just that.
Nightmarish. Yeah. No.
Name me the number of naval cadets who, in 1932, killed the Prime Minister.
Nice. All right. If you can do that, be the first commenter below the video to mention it, and you will win a prize. Just drop in the comments section below the video, along with the time code for where we ask the quiz question, and boom, the prize is yours. For now, I've been the Hidden Object Guru. Thanks for coming on
I've
this
been the
journey
Gun
with
Wrangler.
me. We will see you back here next week for more, but until then, we're going to say au revoir.
Deuces.